Not even the ODM guys are in
Jack ready.
casual clothes. Because they don't sell computers anymore. Or
Is there anybody who wishes to speak to the board? Okay.
sit down. Stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'm going to call to order. Bill Simonelli is present. John Elkins. Here. Dave Ott. Here. Andrew Emmerich. Present. Todd Reinhardt. Dave O'Donnell. Present. Rob Purcell. Here. Chuck Keel, General Manager. Here. Present. We have quorum. We'll proceed with the agenda. So I'm going to ask for a motion and a second to approve the meeting minutes from, we're going to go in reverse order, from November 25th. Do I have a motion for that?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any comments on the meeting minutes from November 25th? All those in favor of approving the meeting minutes from November 25th, say aye.
Aye.
I understand that the meeting minutes for the 21st are still being worked on.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to make a motion that we table approval of the meeting of November 21st until our next meeting on December 30th. Do I have a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor of tabling approval of the meeting minutes from November 21st to our meeting on December 30th, please say aye.
Aye.
None opposed? Okay. Next on the agenda is the board president's report. This has been a busy few weeks since our last regular board meeting. On November 25th, both the operating and reserve budgets were approved with no change in the community assessment, an increase in the reserve budget, and a slight decrease in the bulk landscape assessment. The treasurer has sent out an email to all owners with the details, and shortly you will be receiving your Q1 statement with the updated quarterly payment amounts. As we know, Precedent has taken over as the new management company. We had a very well attended town hall meeting on December 5th to introduce Precedent to the community. If you haven't done so yet, I encourage you to get set up online with Precedent to take full advantage of the services and information they provide to Sandoval, and to also take advantage of the various ways that you can pay your quarterly assessments online. Tonight, we have 2 items under old business and 3 items under new business to address. We'll do our monthly update on compliance efforts with the recent Florida HOA legislation. We will work on the approval of the revised board liaison assignments. Under new business, we have a charter for the Safety and Security Committee to review and approve. We have a 2-part resolution related to Association Council in 2025. And we have a resolution on moving forward with a petition to Cape Coral City Council on Hayden Lane. And with that, I will turn it over to the treasurer for his report.
Okay. 24 budget, year-to-date income under budget due to internet income below forecast, interest income below forecast. Year-to-date house sales continued ahead of the forecast. We have 86 sales so far this year. Expenses are under budget, and the IntraFi cash service has been moved to Popular Bank. All of their accounts work that way, and all of their accounts provide interest, and they're all FDIC backed. Reserve assessment funds, total reserve fund balance as of 12/16 is $3,729,127. I have PPP balance, but it's actually popular balance is 114,147, and the Fifth Third balance is 3,614,979. The current market yield is 3.42. The reserve spend year to date is $372,068. There's a few things still out there that we're hoping to accomplish this year, but if we do get it done, the reserve spend will go up some. The due to from account is now at 0, and we are meeting with precedent accounting, working on transition issues. The interest earned on the Fifth Third account is lower than expected. All right. Operating income and expenses have no red flags. The operating expense is positive year-to-date variance, and return on investments is lower than planned. Major expenses, I'm going to go into this a little bit. The neighborhood and common landscaping variance is high like it has been all year, but we are in the process of the tree trimming taking place and trying to resolve the issues with mulch. So once that is done and we pay the bills, you'll see this get back more in line with what the budget predicted. Contracted services over slightly due to lake issues, and insurance positive variance due to premium expense lower than what was budgeted. Other expenses, still the same thing with irrigation. The irrigation is going to be over budget. For next year, I did plan on increasing the irrigation from what it was in 24 to 25. Again, total assets include the building's valuation. I'll probably remove that comment next month because I'm beating a dead horse with it. Year-to-date reserve balance sheet. I don't see any real issues there. Delinquencies. It is what it is. I do notice that each time when I run this, when I compare it to the previous year, we continue to see a decline in the overall delinquencies. In 2023, we had $115,926, and this year it's $93,248. I'm hoping once we make the transition to precedent that we can look a little harder at this and see what we can do to collect the money due. I do not have a slide for the special assessments, and the reason for that is I always reported on it a few days. I got the numbers a few days before the board meeting. So since Associa has pretty much turned everything off, I couldn't get in to see where we actually stand. So the reserve project spend, again, if we spend everything that is out there, our year-end budget or reserve spend will be $415,144. The discretionary reserve spend is $6,261, and the total spend plan is $168,758 under budget. But that is mainly due to $85,000 that we transferred to 2026 for some upgrades to pool equipment. We also did not touch the emergency spend of $50,000. So that's a significant chunk of money that, we're going to have to carry over. Are there any questions?
Any questions for the treasurer? So we were able to handle any cleanup from the two hurricane events without even touching emergency funds?
There was a contingency, um, reserve spend, and I took it out of there because the amount in there was $100,000, and the amount we had to spend on the cleanup, I think, was somewhere around 65,000.
So, but that was out of the operating budget, not out of the reserve budget contingency.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Anything else?
No more questions for Dave? Thank you, Dave. All right. The next item on the agenda is we have three violations. Okay. The first one, I'd like to make a motion to for a violation on a resident code of conduct violation that occurred on the evening of October 31st. The details of that event are included in your package, and I am making a motion that these owners be receive a penalty of 6 months loss of access to common amenities. Do I have a second for that?
I'll second.
Any discussion on this particular violation? Okay. All those in favor of closing this violation, they will receive a letter, and they'll obviously have an opportunity to appeal that to the Covenants Committee per the process, but this is the start of that process with that. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. The next violation we have is a red mulch violation with an owner for a $100 fine. Do I have a motion for that? Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on this item? All those in favor of the $100 fine for the red mulch violation, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. The last one on the agenda is an issue with an exterior window requiring painting. That is also a $100 fine. Do I have a motion for that?
I'll motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this violation? All right, all those in favor of imposing this $100 fine, please say aye.
Aye.
No opposed? Okay. All three have passed unanimously. Okay. The next item on the agenda is the general manager's report. Chuck?
Am I good? All right. I'd like to begin with the transition. This is week 3 of the transition from associate to precedent. The last couple of weeks, we worked on PC equipment reconfiguration, document migration, getting systems up to transitioning over from one system to another, putting files back in order, all that good stuff. Yet we still are going back and forth with Associa as to some files that we need that they are cooperating with, but in a slow fashion. The transition team for precedent meets daily, and we also have a weekly meeting. So we bring all these issues, they present it to Associa, and we hope to, within a reasonable amount of time, that they respond. But so far, it's been as I think we knew going into this that it was going to take some time. They're going to have some lumps and bumps. We're getting into the point where people are going to have to cut over and make their payments a different way than they were used to last quarter. So we're going to work through that. So, excuse me. Gate strikes for the month are 5. That's good news. Violation letters are only 28. Obviously, the last 3 weeks, without having the proper tools, we haven't really been out getting violations. But we now have that system up and running. The letters have been reformatted. Some of the tasks we do is actually recreate the letters into the new system. So we've got the letters in the new system, and now we're back on the trail of violations. The next topic is mulch. The installation, the issue is still unresolved with the vendor. We are exploring alternatives and negotiations with them to get them to uh, provide us with the work level that they were supposed to provide us. And we still have a long list of houses that are missing mulch. They did very little to fix on the first round of finding out where they needed to fix it. They sent in, 5 or 6 guys, I don't know how many pallets of mulch, and it was nothing compared to what was actually needed. So Ryan continues to get even more people even as of today. People are coming back from up north, and they're actually taking a look, and so we are getting that list continues to evolve. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again: they will not get paid until this is all satisfied. Tree trimming. The bulk houses, the bulk area, the homes have been completed with the exception of a final inspection of turf and any damage that the tree company had done with their machines. This will be addressed by that company. It's their responsibility to fix anything that they damaged. The common areas, obviously, they're underway. They started down at Veterans. They worked their way all the way down to Pine Island Gate. They still have all the Royals to do. They have a lot of trees here at the center and all the cul-de-sacs. So there's still a significant amount of work that they have to do in the common area. So, and it goes to Dave's report why, we have 150, $160,000 that we haven't paid that will account for it. But again, they're not going to bill us until they finish the tree trimming. So um, January 11th is the delivery date that we're expecting our playground equipment to be delivered. Shortly after that, our maintenance staff will make sure that that gets installed quickly. So we're pretty confident that we should see that. It's been long overdue. And the young lady who brought it to our attention last week, I give her a lot of credit for her public speaking ability at such a young age. So we're going to work. We should get that all taken care of. As I reported last month, the floors in here have been cleaned. The restrooms, the grout has been cleaned in all 4 restrooms. We've started doing some paint touch-ups, the doors in the restrooms. So it's that time of year where we really start taking a look at the maintenance items and kind of knocking them off. So there's still more touch-up that has to take place in here. And there's some floors, the gym floors, we kind of saved that for last. We have to get in here after hours to get the gym floor cleaned. So we're spending a lot of time working with Precedent on getting ready for the quarterly assessment billing. So we're trying to get ahead of some of the questions we'll get and trained up on that. I do want to report that there has been an uptick in vandalism. And it's our security guards. So there has been an uptick in vandalism. Vandalism has occurred with the irrigation system, where someone is breaking the irrigation heads off and throwing them into the lake. The other thing was an incident that happened in one of our restrooms. So security has been notified of this. They're keeping a special eye out in this particular area here around the clubhouse, and we hope that it doesn't get any worse because it's costly when they start breaking irrigation heads. It's not the first time irrigation heads have been broken, but this time it was pretty substantial. So, and planned events for January as we look forward to that 2025 budget money. We will be bringing proposals to the board seeking board approval for a sidewalk repair in January. The Pelican chairs here, I think someone's Vic's sitting on one. So we're bringing that forward for board approval so we can get the chairs ordered. And the tennis court fence, which has been damaged for a while. So Those are, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the slide, the pool slide is also scheduled to be refinished. The other thing is, we are finally heard back from the Tiki Hut Company. As you're aware, we sustained a lot of damage in with Milton with our Tiki Huts. We were on a long list of other people that had damage. We've been told that the end of January, early February is when they'll be able to come out here and take care of all of the Tiki Huts that are damaged. With that, the office will have minimal staff coverage during the holidays, as a few of us will be taking time off to spend time with our families. And I'd like to say on behalf of the staff that we want to wish everyone a happy and safe holiday. If you have any questions, happy to answer.
Any questions for Chuck?
I have a question about the chairs. Have we decided which chair we want to buy?
Rob and I had a little brief talk. They're right here. It's the Home Depot ones that have been filtering. I think there's one right there.
There's one right here.
Yeah.
I bought it on a sample, so.
Okay.
So the amenities will sign off on that, giving us approval that their selection, and then we'll
So we won't have to wait till next board meeting. We can go ahead with the chair.
It's like $6,000.
Yeah, good.
Chuck, I also had a question with regards to the playground equipment.
Yes,
I
sir.
know that we faced damage to the canopy system due to the hurricane and the inability of the vendor to reach us to take that system down prior to Milton. Are there contingencies going forward from management perspective to remove that canopy ourselves to avoid that type of expense at the next event?
I think what we will do, no, I don't think we can actually take it down ourselves because of the height and the tools that are required, the manpower. But right now it's set to pull the trigger when there's a named category 3 that's scheduled to make landfall, is when that triggers that event. And I think probably we should kind of move that up since it is a longer lead time. So maybe I think category 2 or category, I would hate to do it for category 1, but probably now a category 2. When we get a category 2 named that's going to make landfall in this area within X amount of miles that we put down, that's when we should probably pull the trigger.
Okay.
And I think it's better to say, okay, we're going to spend, thousands of dollars to take it down and put it back up when nothing actually happens as far as wind damage or hurricanes. But lesson learned, this is
Yeah.
an expensive
It's
problem. So-
not an inexpensive. Thank you.
Any other question?
Any other questions for Chuck? Okay, thank you. All right. Moving on to old business. The first one is report on status of legislation compliance. Just as a quick reminder, we started out with 40 actionable items at the beginning of this process in mid-year. We have 35 of them are now in compliance. We are working on, there's a disagreement on whether or not the form and process for item number 22, the need to verify a request form is adequate to meet the requirements of the legislation. So that will require some more work over the next week or so. And other than that, the remaining items are waiting updates to the handbook. So other than that, we are in good shape, and my goal is sometime in the January timeframe, probably just before the January meeting, I will write up a report that'll be presented to the whole community summarizing all the actions that have been taken to be in compliance with these requirements. Any questions? Okay. All right. Moving on. The next item of old business is approval of the revised board member committee liaison assignments. I have a resolution, whereas the Association Board of Directors has replaced the previous vacancies and a reassignment of board member committee liaison assignments is needed. Be it resolved, the Association Board of Directors agrees to the following revisions of board member committee liaison assignments, and I won't go through all 10 or 12 of these assignments. Do I have a second to this resolution?
And I'll second.
Any question on this? All those in favor of the revised assignments, please say aye.
Aye.
None opposed? Okay. Good. All right. First item
Spell
under,
Todd's name right for the record.
pardon me?
Respell Todd's name for the record.
That is my mistake. I apologize. I'll fix that next time. I'll fix it and get it clean.
He's very sensitive about that, you know. Yeah.
Yes, I apologize. It's my spell checkers is messed up. I apologize. Okay. The next item under, or the first item under new business is the approval of the Safety and Security Committee Charter. You have a copy of that. Let me bring that up. Okay. Okay. So I would like to move that we accept the Safety and Security Committee Charter as written. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Is there any discussion on the charter? Okay. All those in favor of approving the charter as written, please say aye.
Aye.
None opposed? Thank you. Okay. All right. The next item is a resolution regarding counsel for the association. So let me read this resolution. Whereas association legal counsel plays a crucial role in maintaining the legal integrity and operational efficiency of the association, ensuring that Sandoval runs smoothly and in compliance with all applicable laws and regulations. Key responsibilities of the association's legal counsel include, but are not limited to, providing legal advice and representation for governance, dispute resolution, and litigation support, ensuring that all estoppel certificates are accurate, legally sound, and serves their purpose in protecting the association in all real estate transactions occurring within the community, providing legal action including the filing of liens against the property of homeowners who fail to pay their assessments and/or fines, assisting with the compliance and governance of the association to ensure the association applies with all applicable federal, state, and local laws, as well as helping to draft and implement amendments to the association's governing documents as needed, and providing contract negotiation and management support, including negotiating and reviewing contracts with vendors, contractors, and service providers on behalf of the association. Whereas it is important for the association legal counsel to have the confidence of the board and the association members to execute their task on behalf of the association. Be it resolved, the association board of directors authorizes execution of the attached annual retainer agreement between the association and the firm of Becker and Polikoff for the 2025, which includes the ability to terminate at the discretion of the association. Further, be it resolved, the association authorizes the formation of an ad hoc committee with the objective of seeking and evaluating retainer proposals from qualified law firms to provide legal services to the association with the goal of making a recommendation to the board of directors for legal representation no later than May 29, 2025, with any change in counsel potentially occurring in the June 2025 timeframe. This ad hoc committee will be comprised of 4 members, including a board liaison. The ad hoc committee will be chaired by David Hiller, Esquire, and David Ott, Treasurer, serving as the board liaison. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Discussion on this motion. I'd like to make a few comments to start it off. So what you'll see in your, so as I'll just start over. As I've been involved with the board, I've had various opinions on the quality of responsiveness and services that we've gotten from our council over the past year or so. So I have had a discussion with their senior partner regarding my concerns on behalf of the association. And in this package, you'll see his written email, which is in response, which is providing additional support and no additional billable cost to the association. And they do understand that we are going to be starting a process to look for additional or replacement counsel. It is my opinion that we need to maintain a relationship with the law firm until we're satisfied that we have found a suitable replacement, or we decide that they have made significant changes to their support of us, that we may elect to continue with this Becker and Polikoff beyond June of 2025. So that's why I put together this resolution. I have secured the agreement of David Hiller to chair this group, to run the activities, to solicit and to essentially interview in a manner that he chooses to qualify the legal representation. I've also reached out to Bill Dunker and asked him to be part of this process with David Hiller. And so we're looking for potentially one more retired attorney to be part of this process. It's my opinion that a actively practicing attorney would not be appropriate given a potential conflict of interest with this process. So that is the rationale for this resolution. Anyone else would like to make comments or questions on that? All
Good
right.
choice of members.
All right. Okay. All those in favor of approving both parts of this resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
None opposed. Thank you. David, if you're listening, enjoy the holidays and then get to work.
He's good at it too.
Well,
He's very good at it.
I'll give you a full report when we get to the internet ad hoc. I don't think Blue Stream knew it hit him. So, okay. All right. The next item under new business is a petition to action, or a motion for us to petition for action to the Cape Coral City Council for Cape Coral to accept ownership of Hayden Lane. John, this is your motion. Will you please read it?
Yes. I move that Sandoval submit a petition to the City of Cape Coral Council, the City of Cape Coral City Council, requesting that the city assume ownership and responsibility for Hayden Lane. The petition to be delivered no later than the first week of January 2025. That's the motion. Can I discuss it now?
No, we need a second.
Oh, thank you.
Second. Okay. Would you like to discuss that?
The reason for the urgency is that, as we all know, one of our prior board members and quite experienced person on city council is Marilyn Stout. And Marilyn has had discussions with council members as well as the mayor's executive assistant on the process that will probably give us the best and least cost method of having this transfer. I recommend that a political solution will cost us nothing. I'd rather avoid a litigating or a decision. So time is of the essence. I think we need to strike now.
All right. Any other comments before I make some comments?
I would share John's position that our political representatives have relatively short memory spans, and I think we ought to strike while the iron is quote unquote hot before they have selective amnesia and forget that they've made promises to our community to resolve this situation. Not only do I, as I've expressed on a regular basis, fear that this is both a costly venture to maintain, but a huge liability should someone be injured on that road.
All right.
And I know that there is discussion of a plan, a planned way to tackle this. I think I respect that. planned at the same time, I think we should put the cogs in motion.
All right, do you have any other comments before I make some comments on this? Okay. So, so what we have here is a conflict of opinion on how this should proceed. We are being counseled by a sitting council member that we need to get a few more things organized before this is presented to the city council. And that person is in favor of having this happen. And the conflict arises over to be it quite bluntly, over how people are assessing his motivation for his recommendation. In addition to that, today I had a conversation with our attorneys, and they are in the process of setting up a Zoom call for myself with the city attorney to discuss how to proceed with this. That Zoom call will be proceeding in the next week. So what I'm going to do is to propose a motion or an amendment to table this until the December 30th meeting, after I can report on the contents of that Zoom call, and then we can work with the city council's recommendation on the next steps to proceed with this petition. Do I have a second for that amendment?
I'll second.
That
Any
was
discussion
not
about
amendment, it was
that?
a motion to table, right?
Motion to table, right. And John, I'd like to have you part of that call with the city council.
Well, I don't agree with tabling it. I don't know if in Robert's rules, I don't think you discuss a motion to table, do you? I think you vote. I don't know. I'm not. If you do discuss, I'd like to discuss it.
All right, so my recommendation is that we table voting on this motion until the December 30th meeting. That doesn't fundamentally change the direction of the motion, but it gives us an opportunity to have our conversation with the city council and understand the steps and the requirements that we have to have in place in order to make this petition and to have it stick the first time we do it.
Okay, I disagree. I think that for you to go to the council for the city starts a legal process for this, where I think a political process is cheaper and faster. And we've been advised by other city council members, not just one that I know who you're talking about. I've talked to him as well. Other council members, and specifically the mayor's executive assistant, who really gets things done, says time to do it is now. So I would hope that we would vote to not table this motion and pass it.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, to me, I would rather gather as much information as I can, and by tabling this for a little over a week is not going to cause that much of a delay.
But the thing you're asking for during that week, I'm thinking could be at our detriment. Why do we want to involve their attorney when we go to the council members? If we get this in front of the council, there is no legal discussion. They vote for it and it passes. Can we ask Maryland for opinion? Would that be appropriate enough?
It's not appropriate for members to address the board at this time.
Okay, all right.
We know Maryland's opinion. Maryland's opinion, to be honest, is that we're wasting time and we should do it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think the motion should not be tabled, but we should vote on it. But let's vote on the table or not.
All right.
Can I have a discussion point real quick?
Yes,
I
David.
wanted to ask a question about the goal of the meeting that you're talking about, who's involved and what is the specific goal of that call?
So the call is being set up with, I believe if I got this person's name correctly, is Cody Van Vark, VARCH. And this is being set up to discuss what we need to pull together in order to make this petition to the city council, what information we need in addition to the written form that has to be pulled together, and guidance on how to submit it in proper form so that it sticks the first time.
So it's not necessarily a legal approach. You're just looking to gather a few more facts, and the purpose of our attorney is just to make sure there's a clear legal understanding of what they're saying we should pull together.
That's correct. So that's why what I want to do is avoid going to city council, standing in front of them with this petition and being told I don't have A, B, or C ready for this petition. I want everything nailed down, written. I personally don't believe that a single 2-page form is all that we're going to need in order to force a vote on this very complex issue at the meeting.
No, I agree. I think it requires getting in front of the city council, which the petition will do. It will get it in front of the city council, and we go to city council and plead our case.
Yes,
We as the board members. It would be great if we get it done in December. If we delay much further, it won't happen until March, until late February, March, and I just think we need to go. So I would ask our fellow board members to deny this table.
so I'm just going to say is that we're not talking about delaying this to the March timeframe. What we're talking about doing is having an intelligent conversation and then proceeding after December 30th with the path that we have to follow to get this submitted in its proper form. So we're talking about essentially waiting 10 days to get information from the people that have to process this application so that we can do it in the fastest way possible for this community. Everybody's got the objective. We want to get this done sooner rather than later. Nobody wants this not to happen. So, all those in favor of tabling this until December 30th, please say aye.
Right?
Aye. All those opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Okay. All right. All right. Do you have any other comments before we vote on your resolution?
It's not a resolution, it's a motion.
Motion. Someone keeps telling me that we don't do motions, we do resolutions now.
No, well, actually, I looked it up. A resolution is a motion. It's stronger than a motion because a resolution usually implies something well thought out and already has prior approval. Motion starts things. And so mine is a motion. And I'd like to see it pass.
Can you reread your motion again?
Of course. I move that Sandoval submit a petition to the city of Cape Coral City Council requesting that the city assume ownership and responsibility for Hayden Lane. This petition to be delivered no later than the first week of January 2025.
John, who do we anticipate drafting this motion or this
That would be me.
resolution in front of the
That has to be
council?
submitted by the president.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be.
Are we-
The council, the direction that I got from Maryland is that it needs to be submitted by the president, number one.
Okay.
That's also the direction that I got from our own attorney this afternoon when I had a call about this.
Would you be willing to submit it if we
If
pass
the
this motion?
board votes that it has to be done the first week of January, I will do it.
Thank you.
I'm not in the motion of disobeying a board vote.
Okay.
Are you ready to vote on this?
Yes.
All those in favor of John's motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
That's aye.
You what?
I'll vote aye.
Vote aye.
Okay. Motion passes.
Thank you.
All right. Committee reports. Ad hoc Internet Committee. I'm pleased to let everybody know that we have successfully concluded our negotiations with Blue String Fiber. We're working on the final text of the contract. Our goal is that a copy of the contract and a write-up discussing the contents of the contract will be distributed to the board on or about this coming Monday. We're pretty pleased with the content of the contract that has SLA penalties associated with the performance of the system and also the performance of their customer service operations. And it includes financial penalties. And I think the feedback that we're getting is that this is probably one of the most interesting contracts that Blue Stream's had to go through to bring a customer over the last several years. So everybody will have a chance to review it, and then the purpose of the December 30th meeting will be to discuss it and hopefully approve it in time to conclude an agreement with Blue Stream by December 31st. Any questions? Okay. Communications Committee, David.
Yes, thank you. I had the pleasure of having my first meeting with the Communications Committee and got a chance to meet the team last week. I think we had a very fruitful discussion, I was caught up to speed on what last year's goals were, and we highlighted three important goals going forward for 2025. The key highlights are that, we need to take a look at and have a sit down with the contractor that's providing web services today to fully understand what is entailed and what we're entitled to from a backup and archiving perspective, and just evaluate going forward whether that's going to meet our needs, since that appears to be one of the central repositories for Sandoval import documents. So that was one key element. Another key topic was the posting and inclusion of request for information form that would help tie into the other regulations, Bill, that you spoke about earlier. And I think progress is being made on that to get it finalized and published. And that is all I have for communications. Any questions?
Any questions for Dave? Okay. Our committee report.
Rob, is it all right if I defer to you since you now the acting chair and
Yeah, fine. We're just continuing to approve or disapprove stuff. We haven't had the volume has cut down quite drastically. I think in the last batch of say 20 or 25, maybe we had 4 roofs. So it's all winding down that way. But now that all the snowbirds are back, they're doing windows and yards and landscaping and that kind of stuff, which is typically the normal stuff that we normally do throughout the year. So we get a few problem childs, but that's typical. So,
Okay. Any questions for Rob? Okay. Rules Committee.
again, I plead and apologize to the board. I have not had, given my personal schedule, the time to reorganize the leadership of the Rules Committee. I'll be spending the next, that I should have with school winding down and not having teaching in the morning. I should have time to get the handbook revisions made for consideration by the board by the next board meeting. At the same time, we will ideally have a rules committee meeting at this point in January to present those revisions to the committee first for final comments before presenting to the board at the next meeting for consideration. I do still need to, at that point, work with the committee to select a new chair, given the resignation of the chair. So that's the update this month.
Any questions for Andrew? Social Committee.
The Social Committee has been very busy for the month of December. On December 7th, one of the biggest events of the year was held, Winterfest. It was a huge success, and everyone enjoyed the activities and food, and of course, the arrival of Santa. Big hits were the 360 booth and the dollars flying in the booth that the kids could grab. As of December 13th, they hosted its first ever silent disco. 50 headsets were ordered, and fun was endless. I really need to see more videos. That's going to be fun to watch. December 31st will be a New Year's Eve celebration starting at 9 o'clock, 9 through midnight. Music and VOB, black and white theme attire, party favors will be provided. Moving on to 2025, on January 4th, casino night. It's $20 a person, and we encourage people to get your reservations in now. On January 10th, trivia night with $5 per person for that. January 17th, Jimmy Maz. January 19th, the resident class, and there are many more events to come. And Jack wanted me to also remind everybody that we have karaoke.
Yeah.
Same thing. Karaoke Saturday night. Thank you.
Okay, any questions for John? Okay. Amenities, gym committee?
Jimmy.
Yeah.
Rob?
Rob, yeah.
All right. Yeah, we have been, a number of things are being done. Most of them, we had to wait for the 2025 budget, the fence getting fixed around the tennis courts, which was damaged and had some wear problems. The pool slide is being resurfaced, in the coming year, as soon as we can get it done. We're getting ready to order the replacement chairs for in here. That's been being in process. We've also the chairs for the pool chairs. They've all been ordered. Our 1/3 replacement, which is over a 3-year period to replace all the chaises and the upright chairs. So that's all in process. John, do you have anything on the dog park?
I do.
Oh, you do.
Yeah, hey, thanks for that. So on the dog park, there's one outstanding item that we're working on in cooperation with Chuck and Brian, and that is the filling of the holes that have been identified. The last update I had was there was a need for some quotes to be gathered from Juniper for that because there's a significant number of flags. So just didn't know, Chuck, if you'd heard anything more.
Yeah, they actually took care of that this week. So if you want to check to see where all the flags are, they were there with a truck and filled in the holes.
Cool.
I'll double check that.
So if you want to check it, I haven't had a chance to go out there and put eyeballs on it myself, but I know they were out there.
Thank you.
And I believe there's other flags on the Calypso Park, right? Just recently they put some flags there.
Yeah.
So that will need to be addressed. That they didn't get to that.
Okay. Thank you.
Have the benches been ordered? Like there was some benches.
They're in,
next year's budget.
That's they're in 25's budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I
Okay.
Okay, safety and security, there was no meeting of safety and security this past month. Waiting to get the committee pulled together and schedule the date for January, so I have no other information on that committee at this point. Lakes Committee?
Thank you, Jane.
Okay, the next Lakes Committee will be on January 14th in the Pelican Building. Repair on Lake 16 appears to be complete. I think we're waiting to review and inspect to make before we make the final payment. The plant, they said from the beginning that the plants will die down after they're planted, but then they will come back to life. So it's kind of a little bit nerve-wracking. They say they'll come back to life, so we'll have to see. We're planning a fishing event for January 12th, 10 to 2. We're still working on the RFP to get quotes for the lake management vendor. This is a contract that's been rolling over for several years. and we want to get competitive quotes this year. And the current vendor will be given a chance to quote it as well. We're already looking at scheduling the next shoreline repair for next year. And that's it. Any questions?
Any questions? Okay, thank you. Finance Committee.
Finance Committee, we haven't met since we put together the final budget, but I have been reaching out to some auditors that were recommended to us by precedent. The current auditor we have, I wouldn't say he fired us, but he pretty much told us he doesn't have the time to handle our account. So I'm trying to find somebody else that will do it. One of the recommended auditors actually has an office in Fort Myers. I have not heard back from any of them. I went to their website, and their website has a section to go in and fill out some information, and then they're supposed to reach out, contact me. I'm going to give them until after the first of the year, and then I'll be on the phone calling them. I've also been spending some time with the vice president of accounting with precedent, trying to resolve issues that we've had with the associate financials. So we're just trying to go through it little by little. Part of the issue is the transition isn't complete yet, so it's a little difficult to try to figure everything out when we don't have all the information we need. And that's it for finance. Does anybody have questions?
Any questions for finance? Okay, landscaping.
All right, landscaping. Last week we had a heart-to-heart talk with Juniper about the level of service and how it has deteriorated. And they promised that they're going to make some changes to improve it. I have seen them out doing things that they've been ignoring since we had that conversation. So we're going to have to give it time. But I reminded them that the bulk landscaping contract is up in a few months, and if I don't see a significant improvement, we may have to address that. So that's really all it is with landscaping. Any questions on that?
Are any of the management still around, like Kyle and those guys?
We met with Kyle, we met with Alberto, and we met with the account manager we have on site, Dave Keel.
Did they tell you why? Just staffing or what?
They, in my opinion, they made a lot of excuses. And
Yeah.
basically it was enough with the excuses. You better start showing improvement.
All right. Any other questions for Dave? Covenants Committee, Todd?
The Covenants Committee actually met at 4 o'clock this afternoon. They had 2 hearings that were held. Nothing, everything went good there. The actual committee members of the Covenants Committee would like a line on the agenda for the February board meeting if possible. They have some concerns regarding the process for the extraordinary penalty phase, which has been implemented, and they would like to bring their concerns in front of the board for direction.
Okay.
In
Risk management.
February or January?
February, because they want to convene as a committee to get all of their thoughts together to put something that is well thought out.
Understood.
Risk management.
Risk management is next.
Chairman Dunker has been working with the Blue Screen folks, the ad hoc committee there on the contract, and we have the insurance audit, which has been delayed with the information from Associa not being provided at the moment. So that's on the docket coming. But other than that, you're up to date.
Okay. Thank you. And strategic planning is open. One of the things that we need to think about going into the next year is someone stepping up to take over as liaison with strategic planning and trying to get that going again. I think that was an important committee. They got a lot of good things done over the last 2 years, and I think it would be important for the community for us to keep it going. With that, our next board meeting is Monday, December 30th at 6 p.m. here in the Pelican Building. And our regular meeting for January is January 23rd at 6 p.m. here in the Pelican Building. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.